So you're looking for some fun ideas for drawing with your 3-year-old. You have come to the right place. Let's dive right in. First off, we are drawing the very popular Peppa Pig. Now, this drawing is actually quite complicated for a 3-year-old because it has many steps, but the actual shapes or lines that are used within the drawing are age appropriate for 3-year-olds. So this is something that you can draw alongside your toddler, and it'll help them to watch what you're doing and then be able to do it. This step of imitating drawing is actually one of the fundamental key ways that toddlers learn how to draw. That's why when we look at pre-writing shapes, which are like those lines and circles and things that toddlers learn how to draw before they can learn to write, you see that the way that they learn these things is through watching their parent do it. So now we're moving on to a really fun activity that I like to do with my 3-year-old, which is the frog catching the flies. So as you can see, I drew the frog, although some 3-year-olds would be able to do that as well. This drawing the lines to connect to the flies is actually quite complicated for a 3-year-old because they haven't yet mastered diagonal lines. But it's a great way to practice precision and for them to have more control over the marker or crayon that they're using to direct it towards something. And now here we're drawing a picture that again has many steps, but it's really great in teaching your toddler steps and processes, but also sizing. So as you can see, it's a little bit harder for a 3-year-old to draw small circles, but they're looking at my toddler was looking at what I was doing, but your toddler will be looking at what you're doing, and from that gauging where on the paper they should be putting each item and how they should be drawing it. And actually there is so much more happening in this activity of drawing than just learning sizing and producing a product or a picture of sorts. Your toddler is learning through this how to use each small muscle of their hand. This activity of also holding the page with their second hand to stabilize it is such a critical learning step for 3-year-olds. And I just want to point out that the grasp that's being used here is called a digital pronate grasp. Basically, it's the fingers pointing downwards, but the crayon is still being grasped within the palm and almost pointing out through the back of the hand instead of out through the hole in the fingers. There we had a picture of a snake that was being drawn and now also a snail. The snake is really great for practicing those lines being parallel, which also uses control and precision. And the snail picture, you could see that toddlers at 3 years old haven't perfected that perfect snail shell, but they can do lots of circles together, which is great practice for those sizing of the circles. Here we have a drawing of a pizza, which is a great way to practice slicing up the pizza at the end and drawing a plus sign or a cross, which is something that toddlers learn how to do in their 3rd year. So we sliced up our pizza so we could eat it. And now we have, you can see here, this time around, this is something that my toddler's familiar with, so he decided he wanted to draw it, and he didn't need me to draw it first. So it wasn't an imitation, it was him doing it alone. And that was a sun that he drew over there, and this is a lion. And they use much of the same skills. Again, it's that practicing drawing a big circle instead of a small circle, or a big circle with circles within it. And then also drawing the line. So again, 3-year-olds don't need to know how to do diagonal lines yet. That's something that comes a bit later. Click on the link in the description box to find out more about why drawing is so beneficial for 3-year-olds and how you can best facilitate drawing with your 3-year-old.